Randy, I think that we will proceed if they can hear.
Jessica, can you hear me okay? Or John?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll proceed with no video until they can figure it out, maybe.
Good. All right, everyone. Welcome to the regular commission meeting of the Port of Morrow. I'll call this meeting to order. I do apologize for the IT challenges that we're having today. We don't have any video at the moment. If it changes during the course of the meeting, you'll be the first to know. But we do have audio, so we're going to proceed with that. We're going to do introductions first. There's 4 commissioners here. We have one Joel Peterson who's out today. And I would say at this time too that we have one commissioner that needs to leave at 3:30 sharp. So we're going to get through. We do have an executive session meeting that I want his presence in. And so I may move executive session up in the agenda depending on how we get through topics. Okay? So it may come earlier in the meeting if possible, but I will of course announce that. Any other thoughts from commissioners at this time? Okay. All right. Conflict of interest declarations. Are there any to be made today?
Do you want to do introductions?
Yes, I'm sorry. I always forget that. Thank you for reminding me. I'm very sorry. Randy, if you'd like to start in the room and then we'll go online.
Okay.
Angel Aguilar, Sage Center, Port of Morrow.
Jim Patton, Port of Morrow.
Jeff Wilson, Port of Morrow.
Port of Morrow.
Eileen Hendricks, Port of Morrow.
Greg Griggs, Boardman Chamber, Boardman Community Development Association.
Anna Brown, Port of Morrow.
Jeff Montgomery, Port of Morrow.
Eric Boardman, Port of Morrow.
Hey, and then
Thank
we'll
you.
go online. Jared.
Jared Tesh, Clean Water Consortium.
Sam Tucker,
Sam?
Port Council.
Kim Cutsforth, Willow Creek Economic Development Group.
Thank you. George?
George Kress, Morrow County Planning Department.
Thank you. Kelly?
Kelly Morgan, Lamb Weston.
Thank you. Jessica?
Jessica Esparza, Port of Morrow.
Michael? Michael, can you hear us? Hey, Kirby?
Kirby Garrett, CFM Advocates.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Brandy. I always forget introductions. My apologies. At this time, we have a public comment period. Do we have anyone signed up today to speak?
No.
Okay. All right. Moving on, we need to, at this time, I'm going to open the budget hearing following our budget process these last couple of months. What is the pleasure of the commission today? We have a resolution possibly in front of us to adopt the budget, should we so choose.
So would we just open up the budget hearing and leave it open for a little while to give public comment?
Oh, is that really, that's what we do?
Just then you'll close it and then.
I'm sorry. Okay, my apologies. Okay. Okay, thank you. Consent agenda.
I would move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is that everyone unanimous, I believe? Okay, we'll go into legislative updates. Kirby, please.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon. Good to see everybody. Ryan had a conflict today and won't be able to make it. Not sure if that was mentioned already, but she asked me to pass along her apologies. I believe she's going to provide a written update that you should have soon if you don't already. And I know you have a lot on the agenda, so I will keep my update quick as well. The biggest update from Congress is on the reconciliation front. Republicans were able to finally use the reconciliation process, the procedure to pass another reconciliation package. This one would provide $70 billion for Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, and Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, and then some other border security operations and functions basically provide the $70 billion that would fund all of those operations through the remainder of the president's term, essentially 3 years worth of funding. Typically, those are dollars that would come through the annual appropriations process, but as you may recall, ICE and CBP funding was basically the central dispute that led to the longest government shutdown or partial government shutdown in history earlier this year, when there was this big standoff. Democrats were refusing to support funding for those agencies without additional reforms for them. Congress eventually agreed to just pass a bill that left those agencies alone. And so instead, Republicans said, we're going to use this reconciliation process to provide long-term funding for the agencies. The bill was super hard to get across the finish line. In addition to Republicans having a razor-thin majority and everything being difficult, there were a few controversial issues that were basically created by the White House with the request for funding for the White House ballroom, the creation of the anti-weaponization fund for individuals claiming they were unfairly targeted by the government. But despite all of those challenges, they were eventually able to get it across the finish line. And now Republicans are discussing using reconciliation yet again for a third time this Congress to advance another bill that would address a wider variety of issues, but with the general theme of addressing challenges on the affordability front. That said, there's widespread skepticism, even within the Republican caucus, that they can get another reconciliation bill wrapped up. It's a very complicated process. And yeah, they'll be hard pressed to get that done by the end of the year, much less before the November midterms. Separately, just real quick, Congress is trudging forward with the appropriations process. The House has marked up a number of their individual spending bills to kind of get things going, but the Senate has not had so much luck. They're really struggling to find an agreement on a top line agreement and an agreement that would avoid poison pills, or poison pill amendments, as they call them. So the leaders of that committee on the Senate side have exchanged statements in the press, which is never a good sign for how negotiations are going. But this is all relevant to us because it's the Senate side where we have a $1.8 million request that Senator Wyden and Senator Merkley have put forward for us for the IOWN Business Incubator Project. So I was hoping to have some news for you by about now, in the middle of June. But again, that process is moving so slowly. I think we'll be lucky to have an update by next month. It might be later in the year. All that said, the way this always goes is Congress is never able to get these bills passed by the fiscal deadline. They're going to have to pass a continuing resolution by the end of September to kick things down the road later in the year and give them themselves some more time to reach an agreement and pass a bill. A couple port-specific projects I wanted to call out. We submitted an application to the Maritime Administration's Port Infrastructure Development Program, or PIDP. This application is all focused on Terminal 3, and it builds upon the planning work that we had previously pursued. Planning-only projects are just not quite as competitive as capital projects. So what we did is we expanded the scope a little bit, and we are including not just the planning work for the geotechnical assessment of the gantry crane to look at the structural needs there, but we also put in some capital improvements for the face dock area, which we're simultaneously pursuing Connect Oregon dollars for, so that we have multiple bites at the apple. The PIDP program is a great opportunity. It's definitely a competitive one, super competitive, but I think that this expanded scope will put us in a better spot to compete. Last note, real quick, we are also looking at pursuing an application to the Federal Rail Administration's CRISI grant program. This would be a grant application project focused on replacing aging rail infrastructure as part of the Southport Rail Spur project, as we've kind of dubbed it. And I should have some more information on that status of that application at our next meeting. So with that, I think that's plenty for today. I'll wrap up, and I appreciate, as always, the chance to give an update, and happy to take any questions.
Kirby, thank you. And thanks for advocating for the port projects and the updates. Are there any questions from anyone? Okay, thanks, Kirby. We appreciate your work.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
There were a couple of things that Ryan mentioned last month, and one of them was the very broad water concept by the Water Resources Department. I would be curious to know if she does send an update, if there's anything that is coming down the pipeline. Yep. Thank you. All right, moving into old business, CDA update.
I guess I will do. that.
Please.
Mark, Tim and I went out on CBA property. We went into bunkers where we had equipment stored and CDA has equipment stored. Some items in there, they're getting ready to do an auction. It's been stored there for a long time. The port has some items that we were promised in exchange for work that we did out on the site several years ago. We looked at those. We're still interested in most of those. I'm looking at Tim and Mark but there's other things out there that we also have an interest in. So we're making a wish list of things that the port would like to acquire. Eileen ran numbers and we did. In addition, the port has spent about $70,000.
69,000 and change.
Yeah, so $69,000 that we did not ask the CDA for reimbursement for. So it is possible that we go ask them, to exchange some equipment for that. But we'll talk about that at our next meeting, CDA. There's a lot of nice equipment out there that we could definitely benefit.
I did talk with Joel for just a moment. He called me in anticipation of him missing this meeting. He did say that he felt the CDA was about to sign documents and hoping 5 to 6 months until closed. Is that?
It's very close.
Okay.
We are working on the east access on the Utah County side that goes through the tribes. It was mentioned at the last meeting that might be a temporary easement until the west side access was ready to go and transferred. And I just said, I believe that we should keep that access on the Utah County side forever and not have separate access there. So that's still my opinion, unless someone has a different one.
No. He also did mention that Emily's acting executive director review will be done soon, and that he felt she was a 6-month interim. And I think he said we need an executive director for a certain amount of time beyond that, but he wasn't sure about beyond that. I may be incorrect on that. So maybe anyway, the evaluation will be done for Emily soon. He just mentioned that. Beyond that, he didn't say much on the CDA. He said you filled in. So thank you. Was there questions or comments from the group?
Stated motion for future advances.
Can't hear you.
So, future advancements. We wanted a motion.
Oh,
right?
yes, we do.
For the grant.
For the grant, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
We can't hear you.
We wanted an updated motion for future advancements, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, so you previously approved that we could advance funds on the ODOT finance construction project up to 7 million. We are currently have, advanced, been repaid, advanced, repaid, but for a total of 5.8 million. I believe the next draw will probably push us over 7 million. And would you consider extending that?
Is the money available to repay us, or is the loan, the grant in place for the additional above 7?
The additional above 7, it goes through Umatilla Electric, and I don't know what the status of that is.
UEC has approved that for $3.9 million.
Okay.
And they withheld the other 1.1 of their 5 million.
Of their 5.
So that money is in hand with UEC then? Okay.
I don't know if it's in CDA's bank account, but UEC will get the money from the state. They've
Okay.
committed that.
Okay, very good.
So how much more does it need to go? What more do we need to be approving?
I think the whole project is what, 8.9?
And you think you have funding for the 8.9?
I think no, it's
3
it's, yeah, it's.
Oh, it's
10, 'cause
10.9.
There's 1.1 million to get,
Okay,
1.1 million to get to the 12.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
How should the wording be?
Yeah, what are you asking us for?
Yeah.
It's the interim financing on the CDA's $7 million, not the UEC.
okay, so to extend the interim financing to CDA for an additional 3.9 million or up to a maximum 10.9 million?
Yes.
I think that's what you need, isn't it? You need the additional above 7 because we've already done the 7,
Yes,
saying that we would front that
So
until.
another 3.9 above.
yes.
So I move that we agree to extend up to 3.9 million beyond what we already approved to extend to the CDA to be reimbursed from Umatilla.
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any questions or discussion on the motion?
Make sure that money is available already. If it's after UEC, it hasn't come from the state to the UEC yet? Is that?
I don't know,
Fair.
I don't know that they've asked.
Yes.
Thing to go by, it could be a week, it could be 3 months, for the state to, it just depends on their schedule.
Get the dollars back, then, yeah.
Well, as far as getting the documents in place for that additional 3.9.
Right. But the state's committed to 390 UEC, correct?
State's committed to 5 million.
The 5 million, they're holding back the other.
Yes. So it may not be as fast a turnaround on the repayment is what you're saying, as we've seen with the 7 million, because it was very good. I think it's what.
Well, I think the
experienced.
project needs to be completed, so my motion, I'm happy with the way I presented it.
Okay,
And they have been working on that paperwork with the state for at least 6 weeks, I would say.
all right. Any other further discussion? All those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Morrow County Clean Water Consortium updates, please. We had a boardman, we were told there was a boardman workshop coming up last month. How did that go? Would Jared like to give a report? Would our representatives from here?
To give a report on that, and Kelly and I will definitely.
Okay, thank you. Well, welcome, Jared. Would you like to give a report?
Sure, I'd love to. So we did present to the Boardman City Council on May 13th at a workshop about the possible project there to deliver water to West Glen. It was our first formal presentation to the Boardman City Council, though obviously we have been working closely with Brandon, the city manager, over the last year and a half or so since the consortium was founded. The city council were responsive, asked lots of questions and want some additional information. No decisions were made about that, but it's just kind of just the next step in us moving forward to a project and in getting water to West Glen. We tentatively had an IGA that was going to be signed for Boardman's engineering department to do the planning, engineering and design of that project. But due to some liability things, we're now going to use an RFP. And so the progress is still continuing. When we get the RFP, and get that information back. It'll give us even more information about the costs and the details, and as well as some research and that I'm doing to answer several of the council's questions around other municipalities who do similar things, providing water to residents outside of city limits and things like that. So again, collecting a lot of information to provide to the Bourbon City Council. I want to remain optimistic that that we're still moving forward, and excited for that project specifically. So, yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else, Kelly or Lisa, that you wanted me to talk about?
We had some moral discussions, I guess, on on and a couple things that concerned me was one letter that was written from the mayor that expressed his opinion about contamination of the city waters source by hooking up West Glen. And I don't know where those ideas came from, but I think in the engineering process, it's very clear that there'll be backflow devices and all the wells will be disconnected. And so that there's really no, or a very small amount of possibility that any contamination will ever occur. That was, I don't know where that came from. And maybe that was just lack of knowledge of how that was supposed to work. The second thing that we talked about was we had asked the city of Boardman for an interpreter and some extra seating because we knew that this was a community project and that there would be people there that have Spanish or English as a second language. And we asked in plenty of time, 6 or 7 days in advance, and we didn't get the interpreter. So we had several community members there that could not understand anything that was going on and were not privileged to what we were presenting as a consortium. And I wrote a letter, which I think the consortium didn't want to send a letter directly that I wrote. So I assume that the community members will pick that up on their own. But what we did do was in our budget process, we had budgeted $5,000 for outreach, and we're going to, at any other meetings that we hold, we will ask the sponsoring person, whoever's holding that meeting, if it's okay if we have our own interpreters that we pay for, so that the community is involved in these decisions.
Okay, yeah, I need to be able to understand to outreach all the people, of course, so.
Yeah, which is important. If they don't understand it or can't hear it. And that was the first time it's ever been presented. So, and it affects them, their lives, their livelihoods. And I think it's very important that they're brought on board.
Yeah, I appreciate the consortium for spending the money to do that. That's good.
And Morrow County does have equipment. Their public health department has equipment. So this is not, it's not a challenge to try and accommodate this. So we're willing to do that as the consortium and then have to hire hopefully a certified translator if one is available. If not, we'll best we can, but use that equipment that the county already has. I think we're asking the county if they'd move that to the north end of the county and have it stored here in Boardman.
Sounds good.
And then I guess a couple of positive things was we also got bumped up for one of our, I always get the acronyms right. Is it CIP?
The community initiated project requests. So we have 2 of them, and both of them have been recommended to their subcommittees. So it's really good information.
That was the good news.
Yeah. Are those state grants or something, or are they what
Federal.
Are those? Federal grants. Oh, very
Federal
good. Okay.
congressional directed spending requests.
Oh, I see. Yes. Thank you. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll take good news. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone. SIP IGA with the county. And we had some communication from the county, from Mr. Jensen, the director, or the Executive Director, Administrator, thank you. There's the word I'm looking for. And we had some good meetings. We had 2 meetings, and please chime in, Jerry. Please on this, and the first one was good. We made progress. And then the second one, we kind of came to an agreement, I thought.
I would agree. I thought we did too. So,
Yeah. And it was kind of following the IGA. Well, it was following the IGA. And the understanding was that the county was going to go back and draft an IGA for I think what we mentioned did we mention this last meeting? 1 commissioner from the port and the executive director, and 1 commissioner from the county and the executive director forming the negotiating committee. And so the IGA was going to be drawn up to accommodate that. And so I don't know if Matt's on here or not. I don't see him.
yeah.
I am.
Oh, hello, Matt. Good, thank you. And then can you help us understand the letter that was sent and the change to a memorandum of understanding versus an IGA proposed by the county, please?
Yes. So what we're looking at is we reviewed legal counsel and such. The IGA, an IGA is I mean, we've used them with the ports and other entities, is usually an establishment to create a body or an understanding that requires specific financial obligations from each parties. It's more of a formalistic type of organization and such. And as we looked at it with our legal counsel and we're drafting it, we should have a draft by the end of this week that we can forward to Lisa for initial review on that. They had offered saying a memo of understanding might be a better aspect. One of the things that we are looking to do is not create another board per se, but just set up a process that we understand how we'll go to undertake the requirements of the ORS and the statutes for SIP, making sure that the port is involved in negotiations within their district, which is the whole county. And so where there's, as during our last meeting, we discussed not having, how the financial splits or anything would go. And since SIPs are fundamentally different than the CREZ agreements, where the CREZ, you have money coming every year that needs to be distributed, needs to be decided on. SIPs are generally agreed upon in the document, and it's more or less from that point, everything is distributed according to the original agreement. And so there's not the need for distributions. And so our legal counsel just offered saying, if you do a memo of agreement, the binding and leading document is the ORS, which just says when we go to an SIP, we have to have the port or the city, depending if it's in the city as well, sign off and be agreeable to it. The MOU just says whenever we negotiate, we'll have the port involved. They can take care of it, so we don't double up on the requirements of any developers coming into the county. Then we, as a negotiating team, bring that to the port and then the county for approval, and we can follow the process that way. It just simplifies it a little bit. I mean, we believe that the MOU can be just as it's a little less formal, but it just allows us to agree on the process that we're going to do and lets us step forward without the additional formalities of what an IGA would comprise of.
So I want to say I disagree with the idea of moving into an MOU. The point of this is to have something that's stable over time, and an MOU is something that's not really particularly binding. We're going to have commissioners come and go both from the county and the port, and having some sort of formal system in place. The CREZ has worked great as a formal system of getting to decision. I think from my perspective, the port's concern should be that we're making sure that there's consistency around a data center or some sort of industry that's coming in the county. I realize there's also the renewables elsewhere in the county, but I think it all fits together, and I would prefer us to continue. We've been discussing the IGA, and I think I would encourage this commission to continue to ask that we go that path. I understand, maybe there's more formal steps, but on the other hand, there's nothing wrong with things being formal and understood and consistent as new people come and go. So I get it, but, and I guess if that entails, we have to have a larger discussion about the funds, then we can always have that discussion. But I think we were wanting, I think John would probably agree, we were trying to get to something that we were nimble and made sure that the county and the port were not getting in the way of anybody getting to an agreement with the county on a SIP, whether it's an industrial user or whether it's somebody elsewhere in the county doing something that needs tax abatement.
Yeah, two things. One, if I think the MOU is used and we fall back on the bill that was passed, the language I didn't think was very good. It mentions it in one place, but it seems to conflict, in my opinion, and doesn't add a lot of clarity. So I would worry about that going forward, honestly. I prefer the IGA, and I would like to, and I felt in our meetings and our discussions, we heard the concerns that the county had about an agreement and working together toward a solution. And I thought the port representatives tried to accommodate those concerns and address them. And so I guess I'm surprised to hear that it's coming back as an MOU with more flexibility, when I agree with Jerry's position that I think that an IGA is a better option moving forward.
Well, we can pivot and I just shot off to our legal counsel saying switch it to an IGA. So we'll have that draft based on an IGA to Lisa for review by the end of this week.
Okay.
And I would comment, that if there's specific things that we all need to address when we have the next meeting about that document, let's make sure you bring them up so we understand what the concern was, because I don't want us to not have addressed this in a way that it really is a workable document. So, we don't want to resist something that makes sense, but I think that we want something more formal.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
Agreed.
a copy of that letter anywhere, John? It didn't see it in the book.
I think there was an email to Lisa. I think Lisa had an email.
Yeah, I was just.
That
it was
she just
recent.
got this morning, so.
Apologize.
Yeah.
Matt, we appreciate that. Thank you. We will look for the document and then look forward to working together as we go forward. So thank you.
Very good.
Any other discussion on the SIP IGA with the county? Okay, thank you. Strategic business plan update, please.
Okay, we have several things to talk about with the business plan. We submitted the application to the state. They're upping the amount that they will grant, but right now ours is at $50,000. I did talk to the state and asked them if we separated our two projects, strategic business plan and economic impact analysis, we could get a grant on both of those. I reached out to the person that's done our analysis, the last several versions, to see what that would cost. It's $29,000. I don't think it's worth splitting the applications at this point, so we're just moving forward with the one that we have. If you open up your binder, on the left side, you're going to see capital improvement plans. And this is a list that Mark and I went through earlier this week. And these are the projects that have been completed off the last plan. And I think Eileen has a financial.
So I didn't provide anything formally. The financial plan was almost 2 pages of items, which weren't things that you could say, oh, done. They were things that we were saying we would continue to do. So I thought I would bring, so one of the strategies is to maintain an operating reserve of at least 90 days of operating and maintenance expenditures in the enterprise fund. So if you look at last year's audit report, our Operating and maintenance expenditures were $37 million. 25% of that, or 90 days, would be 9,258,000. And when you look at your monthly cash sheet and you look at the unrestricted funds, we're currently at 24 million. However, if you look at what we budget going forward, and as you recall, we always budget high, or that's always our goal, to budget high. And we still have the outlier of really what should we be budgeting for our farming operations. But if we look at the number that's on the budget, it's a lot squeakier because we budgeted with the current budget that hopefully you will approve later today, 72,457,000. 25% of that would be 18 million. So we're still there. We had 1 month in the last 12 months that dropped under 18 million. We were at 17 million something for a short time, which had to do with us financing these great big construction projects.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I guess what I'm saying, out of all the strategies, because unfortunately it's a lot about, oh, well, let's, keep our eye on the market and refinance anytime there's an opportunity, which we did do, which is why we have our 2021 issue, which was amazing. That was an amazing savings. But right now we're back in the spend mode, not the payoff mode.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're all already aware of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And on top of this, I think everybody knows and understands there was probably about, 150 to 200 million more dollars worth of work that was completed in the last 4 years, including 1.5 million gallons of lagoon or wastewater, land expansion on farm. All the work we did at the airport, freshwater treatment plants. So it's been a very, very busy.
Very productive, yeah. And so you're saying those projects you just mentioned were not funded out of the budget?
They were not.
Right.
They weren't part of your strategic plan,
Right.
but you executed a lot of your strategic.
We
did.
Yeah.
Impressive.
In fact, almost every big project we completed.
Yeah.
The ones we didn't complete were like, we had $50 million in here for removing the buildings at CDA. Well, it's kind of hard to even start a project like that till transit.
Sure.
And whether we would have done that without grant funding, probably not. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway.
No, good. One comment Joel made that I'll pass along. He was rather Spartan in his input for the meeting, but he did comment that he did want to see the strategic plan move forward sooner than later. That's one thing that he would like to see.
So time.
Whether we pay for it ourselves or not. No, I'm sorry.
Application submitted to the state, they will approve that application. They're providing us a list of vendors to go out to, and we'll send a request for proposals to those vendors and hopefully have someone engaged by August and have a plan done hopefully by the end of the year.
Sounds good. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
And the economic impact analysis will take about that same time frame.
Okay. Sounds good. Any other thoughts on the strategic business plan? Okay, we're going to move on to commission bylaws update. And everyone's got a chance to look through them before the meeting. Brandy, where did the red line language come from, if you don't mind?
So a couple of us had looked at the Port of Hood River, and honestly, ours, that must have been where they came from in the first place because they almost matched word for word, but we had taken a few things out. So basically all I did was add those things that we had taken out back in. So it is basically Port of Hood Rivers.
Okay. Okay, how would you like to do this, everyone? My feeling is that we talk through the document as proposed, as presented to us. We comment on it, we express our opinions. We don't approve it until the next meeting. I'd like Joel here to discuss. with us?
I'd want to do a cleanup version and make a.
Yeah, right, exactly. That makes sense. So I would like to just go down, starting at the beginning, and if anybody has comments or questions, please make them. And then we'll visit about them, maybe give guidance, change, whatever, and then go to the next one.
So I'm assuming you're starting at page 6.
I am starting on page 6, exactly.
Okay.
So I see the president and not Brandy can give that now, huh?
Yeah, we never had it designated in there.
Oh, okay.
Let's just add it so that we don't have to question it.
There we go. Okay, very good. Okay, that was my first one. So, okay. So vacancies, occurrences, number 3 is convicted of an infamous crime.
Would be an infamous.
Page 8, my apologies, page 8. What is an infamous crime? Do we list them? Is it?
So are we not starting on the first part of the board commissioners?
Yeah, we did. I'm sorry. My apologies. That's page 6. And then I apologize. I skipped ahead to page 8. I didn't have anything else until page 8. So, what is an infamous crime?
Just directly from the ORS.
It is. Okay.
So does ORS must define what an infamous crime is?
Let's see.
I mean,
Okay.
it seems like if it did.
Just a speeding ticket, Jerry.
On my house, it might be an infamous crime.
And then also the competent tribunal, apparently the makeup of that must also be in statute. These are just questions I'm interested in having an answer to. But I didn't get a chance to look myself. I'm sorry.
It doesn't define what but it says infamous crime. It doesn't define it.
Okay.
This is out of an ORS.
It's an ORS. It's
236.010.
0.
Oh.
Okay. My apologies. I should have
And
looked.
that applies to,
The commission shall formally declare a position vacant before the expiration of the term for any of the reasons set forth in ORS 236.010, which include 1 through 9.
And that's actually the statute.
That's the
Is it basically the language of the statute?
verbatim. Okay.
Verbatim, so.
I will not say that. Like B, this says 2 ceases to be an elector of the district. This one says the incumbent ceases to be an inhabitant of the district, county or city for which the incumbent was elected or appointed, or with which in the duties of the office are required to be discharged. So it is slightly different right there.
Okay. All right.
But it does say the incumbent is convicted of an infamous crime or any offense involving the violation of oath of the incumbent.
Okay. All right. Well, if it's in ORS, we're going to have a hard time overruling it. So I'm going to continue on through my list. Please bring up your points should you have them before what I might say.
if it's in ORS, we should have the exact wording.
I can change it to make it exact.
I think that's fine. I mean, probably then there's no debate, because you either just say it's in compliance with the RS and
Yeah.
nothing,
Mhm.
or you list the ORS.
Yeah.
You should do one or the other, probably.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. My next comment is on page 9, it has to do with strategic business planning. Is 10 years a good range of time to have strategic plans? Should we do them more often or?
To do them every 5 years.
Okay.
Doing them every 5 years, and the state requirement is 10. Economic impact analysis, we've done more frequently than 5 before. I think we did one at 2 or 3 years when we had a big impact.
Right.
So
Okay. So we want to leave it at 10 then, I guess, and just do it more often? For example, I'm sorry, it's under strategic business plan on page 9. And it's in.
Skip all the rest of them.
I did because I didn't have any concerns about them. I'm sorry. I'm just going by listing concerns instead of reading every single line. So I apologize if that's not a way you guys want to do
I
that.
think it's fine.
Yeah, I think if
I'll just stop.
if I have something, I'll say.
Yeah, I've kind of figured.
Stop you too.
Address our concerns later, not just.
Well,
I think I would recommend doing it at the time we're there rather than go all the way through it.
Let's go through it.
yeah, I just want to work our way through it. If you have a concern about this particular point or any along the way, speak up right then. Okay,
You
not,
just jumped it forward, and so I was like, okay, well.
yeah, exactly. So I just didn't have anything between then and 9. And if you guys do, please speak up. I'm just jumping in here. It does say the commission should annually review components and goals stated in the strategic business plan. I would suggest that we put that on the board calendar. Please. It doesn't necessarily need to be in our statute, but just on our calendar somewhere. Could I see for next month's meeting? I'm sorry, I'm moving to page 10. Provide safe work environment. The harassment and discrimination policies that apply to port personnel also apply to elected officials. Could I get a copy of that policy, please?
It's the handbook that you have.
Okay.
Recently.
Okay. Yeah, I should have looked it up. Sorry. I do have the handbook here. So as long as I have a recent copy of the handbook, we're great. So.
Mr. Chairman, Sam Tucker.
Yeah, Sam, please.
I just looked up infamous crime in Oregon, if you care.
Oh, okay, yes, please.
Infamous crime refers to felony or offense involving violation of official oath. Historically and legally, this encompasses crimes punishable by imprisonment in the penitentiary involving corruption, fraud, and deceit.
Okay.
So there is a definition for it.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Can I go back to page 9?
Sure. Yeah.
So we have membership liaisons.
Mm-hmm.
4. This member is guilty of violating any of the provisions of the Oregon government ethics laws.
Mm-hmm.
Something we want in there? Frankly, I have one. I think everyone that sat on this board has one. Previous board, probably not including Mr. Human, but so I have a problem with that. And
So you're saying you're
with willful misconduct. What is willful misconduct? I think some of these, I think we're getting into a lot of First Amendment rights and things that should not be in bylaws.
Okay, thoughts?
So that's just a liaison position. It's not anything other than that. I would have to digest that one a little more.
Yeah, it isn't like we're talking about the seat of the commissioner themselves.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about.
Board seat on water consortiums or
Right, representation on other boards.
Somewhere else.
Right.
CDA boards.
So does an Oregon government ethics law violation on that board committed by a port commissioner preclude them from serving on that board? Is that what you're
And
saying?
if that is written, then I would not be eligible to sit on the water consortium board, nor John on any other boards or anybody else that's on this room, in this room.
Okay, all right, we'll digest that, put a note by it. If that's all right, we'll address it next meeting. Everybody have a chance to think about it?
Yeah, I think it needs to be digested because I think the intent is there. I think it just needs to be reviewed so we have a better understanding.
Okay, all right.
So we are going to continue with the willful misconduct and
Well, what is the definition of willful misconduct?
or moral turpitude.
Yeah.
I think we're getting into a lot of law.
Sam, do you have thoughts on this question or topic?
So I haven't looked at it. I know, just my observation for whatever it's worth. When it says you have to remove somebody for certain specified things. Um, you can almost come up with a place where we really don't want to do that. And so that's one part of it. The other part of it is, yeah, I don't know if I should say this or not. This country is based upon people taking controversial positions at times and expressing themselves. And I think that going back to what we did earlier, people can violate the Oregon government ethics rules. If you were to say that everybody that violated the Oregon government ethics rules on occasion, um, eh, and I'm just concerned that you want to make it mandatory in those kind of situations because there can be things that are not material or don't seem to be material, or maybe clear trying to express your discontent about something that can lead to something that the commission really doesn't want to do. That's up to you guys.
Yeah,
Well, but again, it doesn't say you will or shall, or it says the commission may suspend, remove, or reprimand from any of those liaison positions. So
Right.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
I was
have to.
looking at the vacancies where you changed the word may to shall.
Right, right.
And I didn't, I guess I didn't, I haven't read this, so I didn't know it was a discretionary thing in this situation.
I feel like this is a discretion of the group. If they
Yeah.
thought somebody had done something that was to a point where they didn't think they were representing the commission appropriately. And I mean, maybe you word this in a different way, but ultimately I think that's what you're saying is that you think somebody's not properly representing the commission or only representing themselves or something not in line with what you asked them to do as a liaison. I do think we should have that authority or that ability. So,
Well, and I think I do.
Let me clarify what I meant. It says may and not shall in this section, so my criticism or concerns are not as serious when it's not mandatory.
Right.
Okay. Okay, let's digest this and we'll bring them forward at the next meeting if that's all right. Thank you, Sam. Next point for anyone? One thing that's in here is page 11, interactions with port personnel, and it has to do with commissioners. Neither the commission or any of its commissioners give orders or directives directly to any port employee other than the executive director and any other port officers directly appointed by the commission, except to and through the executive director. The commission and its commissioners shall respect the separation between the commission's policy role and the executive director's administrative responsibilities by, and it's got 1 by 3.
Right.
And I understand them certainly. Number 1 is not interfering with the day-to-day administration of port business, which is the executive director's responsibility, including personnel management. 2, refraining from action that would undermine the executive director's authority. And 3, refraining from contacting port personnel other than the executive director. I think that's kind of, in my understanding of being the commissioner, that's a given. That this is the conduct that we're expected to mind. However, I think Lisa has granted in some respects. Is there?
Do, and we've talked about this before.
Right.
If you want to go in and ask Mark a question or ask Eileen a question, ask Jason a question, they're going to tell me that you did that. And I think you should be able to go and ask questions without having to ask permission.
I feel like questions are different than directions,
Definitely.
right?
Okay,
I mean,
there you go.
I mean, I don't know how we cover that off, but I feel like I should be able to ask Mark a question, get it straight from whoever it is, or or a question about finances from somebody that could actually just answer my question.
Do we want to reword this number 3 then to allow questions, or is there a way to address this, or do we, because right now it says refrain.
Right, right.
I think this is standard language that's used by a lot of different government and municipal type agencies. This is not new language to me.
Right.
Right.
And my staff works under this same kind of directive. I think it's clear that if there is a discussion or something that needs to be had, the door is open for those discussions. I'm not hearing that we cannot plain have a conversation by this language.
Right.
Okay.
And as long as we can do that, I'm good with it, because I agree that the only person that we should be directing our thoughts to is our executive.
Absolutely.
That should be the end of the discussion if
Absolutely.
we have a complaint.
Okay. All right.
And I will say, we hear at every training that we go to with ethics, or when we've got an attorney in to give guidance, they always say, you know, don't go down and talk to the rest of the staff, but I love the fact that we can do that.
I think the one thing that we also need to be cognizant of is everyone going in and asking the same questions of Lisa, and Lisa being a conduit for a meeting. That's a concern.
I'm not running into that.
You're not experiencing that right now. Okay. Okay.
But you got to understand, we can ask her the same question as long as she's not going saying, hey, Jerry wanted to know from you if we can do this. That's where you get.
Right, that goes too far. I agree.
Yeah.
Right.
But having conversations with the executive director, and they could be the same questions, as long as she's not going to each one saying, hey, Jerry wants you to do this. He wants you to take this action, or John wants you to do that.
Right.
That's where it becomes an illegal meeting. So.
Or even saying, John said this.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's not.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we took it out before when we did it because we liked the open door policy. I do think it's should be in there. There's been several times I know for myself that I respond back to an email and I make sure that I add Lisa because I want her to be aware, and I feel uncomfortable when she's not.
Right.
Yeah, that language needs to stay.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when I was not the president and Joe was, anytime I had a question, even of Lisa, I oftentimes included Joe in the email to Lisa. So I may not do it, necessarily now as a president, but I did then.
Right.
One comment I would make as far as, independent commissioners requesting information or something like that, it does address it later in the policies, is approaching our attorney. Then I guess as president, I would say if commissioners have a question that they want to ask or get our legal counsel's opinion of, that they approach the executive director or the president.
I agree.
And that's been standing practice.
Yeah, I agree.
And which, I'm not going to say no if you have a concern and you feel it needs to be brought up, but just.
Yep.
You want to go back a page?
Sure.
Page 10.
Yep.
5 under the appointment or removal of the executive. Oh, that's the executive director. I'm sorry.
Not applicable then?
I was thinking it was.
Yep.
Looks like vacancies with the office.
You said page 5?
The office of the director.
The office of the director. Yeah.
I was saying.
Yeah. No, this is about the director. Yeah.
Where we were at our staff. Okay.
No, 12, I didn't have anything.
Joel asked a question he only had a couple of comments on the policies and procedures, or bylaws. And it has to do with page 15, duties of the president. His question was, does the language on 12C, president will have the same right as other members of the commission to discuss and to vote on questions before the commission. He wanted to make sure that the president could still make a motion and second a motion.
Yes.
Do you feel
that's how I interpret.
That's how you interpret it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's the way we've conducted it
Right, right.
Exactly. That was his concern. And he said, well, the language that exists may well address that. So same right as other members, apparently would probably cover it. Okay. Well, I don't have anything until page 25.
I was gonna say I didn't.
But please speak up if you do.
I don't think so.
And it's violations of bylaws. So that's, but others, please speak up if you have questions before that time.
We must be on page 25.
I'm on page 25, section 39.
Yeah.
I just would like to work through this a little bit, so.
I'm great with the language. I think it defines a need that we have, and I think we should have the ability to have those discussions and the authority to hold each other accountable.
Right.
I will say that the second comment that Joel made to me had to do with, he felt attacked, I guess that was the best word to say, on social media as being the president of the CDA in a social media post that, and it was by one of our commissioners, and he wanted this discussion of violation of bylaws discussed. And that's why I'm hoping that he will be here next month.
Right.
Because he felt threatened by it. And so that's his concern. And so I'll just leave it at that. If anybody else wants to discuss it, please do.
Well, I would just say that we have a responsibility to the port, the employees, the businesses, everything that the port does, its mission, to represent the Port of Morrow in the best possible way we can. And we were elected by the people to be that representative. And I believe in having a professional conduct. When a commissioner goes off in a public setting or does something outside of this room, they still represent the Port of Morrow commissioners.
Right.
And that is inexcusable.
And I don't, you don't have much say about those that are elected. I mean, the most you can do is reprimand or sanction in some way a member of this commission. You can't remove them from the commission. They're publicly elected. Only the citizens could do that. But you certainly, a board, I own school district had a little problem with it. And we ended up sanctioning one board member, the school board did, and made it public that the rest of the board disagreed and the behavior was inappropriate. And they voted on it in public. It made it clear where the board stood. And I think it was appropriate at the time, right? What happened was inappropriate and wasn't representative of what should have happened as a school board member, right? So to me, an elected body, and that was the limit of what an elected body could really do, right? They could hold somebody accountable and say, you can't participate in being a liaison. That's one thing. The other thing you could do is truly sanction them and at least make it public that the rest of the board was in disagreement. And I think you should have a formal process so that it's respectful, because I think it could come up from time to time.
Well, in this process gives this bylaw gives a process in which to make that happen. So
Right.
It's not just one-sided.
Right. Well, I think, yeah, and it needs to be publicly done if you're going to do it, and it needs to be everybody engaged. That's So I'm not uncomfortable with this. I mean, somebody wants to change some words around or something, I guess I'm open to it, but I think it should be in place. I think we should have a policy.
Absolutely.
I'm terribly uncomfortable with it. And I think I'd love to hear Sam's response to it for your First Amendment rights and what you can do outside as a citizen of your duties as a Port of Morrow. I think this is an open door for a huge problem with First Amendment rights.
Well, Sam, would you mind before next meeting weighing in on this topic on section 39 on the violation of bylaws part particularly, please?
Yeah, this is an area of significant expertise. And I will get something back to you, but I may involve somebody who has some more constitutional expertise than I do.
Okay, all right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, and again, this is just it's a bylaw. It's not like they can take our birthday away, you know, or put you in prison or whatever.
Right.
It is a bylaw established by this commission, a code of conduct in which you should carry yourself. And I think if you represent this organization, you should conduct yourself in a professional manner at all times. And I think that's extremely important because you represent the Port of Morrow, not your personal beliefs.
Brandy, did this come from Port of Hood River as well?
Did.
Okay.
Brandy, where'd it come from?
Port of Hood River.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sam. We'll look forward to hearing in the future. I think that is the end of the bylaws and the discussion. It is 2:37 right now. How does the commission feel about when do we think we should, maybe I should be asking Lisa, when do you think we should be stepping out for executive session for the topics so that Rick's attendance can be guaranteed?
Do you want to just finish off
New
BPA
business?
financing?
Old business. Okay.
Finish
You need-
old business?
Yeah, you would have a quorum for the,
Do we want to rule? I would like us to have approved the budget in these resolutions and have most of the business done and we're down to
maybe.
I would think we could move through the rest of it pretty
Okay.
I think
quickly.
so.
Or go staff reports, just get through the resolutions, should be quick.
I feel like we'd be better off just having done it. We got 4 of us here and
Okay. All right.
then we've done our obligation this month on the budget and we're not.
Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. We do just have one item left in old business BPA financing. Is that
Just wanted to report it's moving forward. John has the signature pages in his possession. It's scheduled to close next week on the 17th.
Thank you, Eileen. Seeing no other old business, we're going to go into new.
could I recommend that we go ahead and finish off new business, the resolutions?
Yeah.
Before we go into executive session?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, we're going to do that, I think.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're just fine. So we will go into new business. The first is call for comments and close budget hearing. Are there any comments to be made on the budget? Anyone? Hearing none. Would anyone be interested in making a resolution to adopt the budget?
I think you want to, did you close it officially?
Oh, I'm
close it?
sorry. So I need to close.
Close the hearing.
Okay, my apologies. Okay. I will close the budget hearing now for the Port of Morrow. Thank you for keeping me straight.
It's for the resolutions further down in the list.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Okay. I'd like to take care of it all at once. Okay. Resolution, my apologies. We're closing the budget hearing at this time. I have resolution 2026-06 utility rates.
Okay, so we talked about this at the budget committee.
Yeah.
This not only changes our standard rate, the 15%, which we had previously authorized. It also establishes some minimums, which allows for, I guess I should find the page here. Section 4 says the commission finds that it is necessary and appropriate to update the minimum charges to recover costs that do not fluctuate with usage, such as infrastructure maintenance, capacity reservations, regulatory compliance, and administrative overhead. And it outlines the proposed minimum. So basically, our freshwater rate goes up to $1.30. This is all would be if it's approved effective July 1. The disposal of reuse water would go to $5.05. Section 2, we are already charging this by contract at the airport. The freshwater rate at the airport is $8.20. Section 3, the port recognizes the additional operational costs that will be incurred by the newly constructed water treatment facilities. And we would set for the data center facilities in the port and East Beach areas at $4.10. So that's half of the airport. There's operation of the treatment facilities in both places, but there's not the transport piece to get it out to the airport. Okay, and then the minimums. So we were still charging $30 a month to some of our customers, and we've been doing that since I came here in 1998. So it's a reevaluation of those. So all hydrant meters would be a minimum of $250 a month. Those are items used for construction water. All commercial properties would be a minimum of $100 per month. The potato sheds would be a minimum of $50 per month. And industrial properties, and let me read this other sentence first. These minimums, except as otherwise contracted, will be set as follows. Industrial properties would be $15,000 per month freshwater and $20,000 per month reuse water. And we put that sentence in because there are a couple of existing users that we would think would want to come in and talk to us about this item.
Right. And do most of the industrial properties, though, exceed this on a monthly basis? So this minimum wouldn't hardly even apply to that.
Some of it within the first week, most of them do.
First week. Okay. So this doesn't have a negative effect, even though that's a big number. It doesn't really affect them.
We have one customer that only operates 3 months a year.
Right.
Oh, I see, that would fall under that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But we have maintenance costs.
We have
12 months out of the year.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Thoughts on this resolution?
Yeah, I move that we adopt resolution 2026-06 as presented.
Second that.
All right. Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2026-06. Is there any further discussion or questions? All those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. It was unanimous, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Moving on then, resolution 2026-07 rail tariff. Please.
That's just establishing an increase in the rail tariff from $33 per move to $35 per move. And containers are charged by contract.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd move to approve resolution 2026-07, a rail tariff increase.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on resolution 2026-07 rail tariff increase. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed unanimously. Thank you. Moving on, resolution 2026-08, adopt and appropriate budget.
Okay, I've been asked to bring something up about Oregon ethics law. There was a recent case where they found that an individual was manipulating the budget for personal benefit. In my opinion, this did not. But just so you know, I did have my finger in every line on this budget. my salary is not determined by the budget. My salary is determined by an annual review. But I mean, I guess I don't know what to say about that other than, you know, if somebody's gonna go down that road, I'm the one they need to point the finger at, but I really don't think I have any conflict of interest.
How are we supposed to prepare a budget if our CFO isn't involved?
Right, and our executive team isn't involved. I don't know how you would, that, I don't see an issue.
Okay.
I think you're just declaring that.
Yeah, I think you
Okay.
just, right,
Yes.
right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Eileen.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
And move to approve resolution 2026 -08, a resolution adopting the budget, a total budget number of $623,462,895.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have to do the resolution imposing the tax at the same time or?
You have to do the, on the second page, imposing the tax.
Yes.
Okay. And also, what do you want to do that different? At a different?
You can, if it's okay with everyone, we'll just
Put them
make a
together.
motion together.
Okay.
Keep going.
I'd amend my motion to also include a resolution imposing and categorizing the permanent tax rate of 0.0841 per thousand and make those payments to the county, correct?
I'm sorry, what?
Do we have to make those payments to the county?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Exactly as written is.
I second your motion.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the adoption of the budget. It's resolution 2026-08, and also to impose the approved taxing rate of 0.0841 per thousand. Is there any other discussion or questions?
I just have a question.
Okay.
Can we oppose that rate? How bad is
No,
it?
it's a.
Yeah, we're stuck. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could.
It's just a requirement of
Yeah, I
budget.
was gonna say, no, you can't.
You could choose not to assess it.
Right, that's what I was gonna
You
say.
can't raise it though.
Can't raise it.
Can't raise it, but you could lower it, I guess.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, LID discussion.
Can we
Who
postpone?
would like to lead that discussion, please?
We can give you a little brief and then we can talk about it again at a later meeting, but
Okay.
we have been in discussions with attorneys about, and with our financial advisors about proposing a local improvement district at the port that could help pay for infrastructure improvements. There's a lot of implications to that. It's a defined process to go through and something that we're discussing right now with help. So.
Okay. Would it be okay to assume that you'll maybe bring a plan or a thought from the attorney and how it might be put in place?
We will.
Next meeting?
Can you
Yes.
explain that whole, to me, what the LID is? I mean, what are you saying that it has all these implications? What implications does it have? I guess I don't understand the improvement district.
Improvement districts, it's very similar to ones that cities do with the urban
Okay.
renewal agency. You define an area, you establish a list of improvements to be provided in that area. And
Is that tax rate?
and you freeze the current tax rate in that area and you establish a rate that will pay for the improvements.
The property owners pay for the improvements over time. Yes.
They would also have.
Based on
They-
their
They
assessed
could have the ability
values.
to pay it up front if they want.
Right, so let's say that in my mind, I did one 35 years ago as a banker, helped the city do one. And what they did was, let's say it was $100 million and it was divided amongst 10 properties and one of them was 20%. So they had 20 million. They had the option of paying for that at the time it went in, or they pay for it over time. And the financing was done over time and they assessed it. So
And the relief would be on the utility rates.
Right. So is it an area that we set up or is it our whole district because we're district wide?
It would be what covered underneath wastewater improvements. So whoever's sucked up to all the new improvements would be.
Okay, so.
So it'd be an area.
Defined area.
Okay.
It would be under
Yeah,
wastewater.
it's more specific than just general utilities. It's wastewater.
Specific utility, you could do it for specific or a whole lot.
That wouldn't really affect the citizens much as it would.
It wouldn't affect any citizens.
No citizens
We
at all.
don't serve any
No.
citizens.
No.
Yes.
No.
Business.
Business. Okay.
Right.
That helps a lot.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Another way to pay the bills.
I'm sorry, Jason. what
I
was-
said it's just another way to look at trying to pay the debt service.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. All right. We'll look forward to more discussion next month. Any other new business to come before us today? Okay. At this time, I am going to recess this meeting, the general meeting, and go into executive session so that we can include a commissioner that needs to leave at 3:30 or thereabouts. So I'll read the executive session statement. We will return to finish the rest of the regular commission meeting agenda or take action if there's any action to be taken from the executive session meeting. So we will keep things open. The court will hold an executive session meeting for the permissible reasons stated below under ORS 1926602. Representatives of the news media and designated staff and other persons shall be allowed to attend the executive session. The public virtual Zoom meeting link will be paused during the executive session as permissible executive session meetings are not subject to HB 2560. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made in this executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to the room, start the public virtual Zoom meeting link again, open the regular session meeting. The reasons for executive session. A, the purpose of consideration of deliberations with the port's executive director and other staff members who have been designated by the port to negotiate real property transactions. That's ORS 1926602E. Also, for the purpose of consultation with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. That's ORS 1926602H. And lastly, for the purpose of review of the employment-related performance of the CEO, ORS 1926662I. So at this time, we are recessed. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We will reconvene the regular session of the Port of Morrow Commission meeting at this time. Commissioner Stokoe had to leave, as mentioned at the beginning of the meeting. So it is just the three of us here, but it is a quorum. So we just recently came out of executive session where we did an evaluation that was requested to be private. And so I will be visiting with you, Lisa, right after this meeting, if that's all right, please. We do need to form, though, and I would like some guidance if need be. I'd like the negotiation team to do a little bit of looking, whoever we assign to the negotiation team, and it's a 2-member group, that they just make sure that if there's a compensation committee or something like that in a formal form in statute or something like that, that we do follow those. The question has been raised about following that procedure. So it's gonna be a task for the people that sign up to be on the negotiation team, that has to be looked into prior to negotiations, just to make sure that we follow the statutes as we should. So I am looking for people that are interested in serving on the compensation negotiation team. Anyone interested or?
Well, Rick expressed that he was interested, so.
Okay.
And I'm interested, if no one else is,
Okay.
one arm wrestle, but I'd be willing to do it.
Okay. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not, okay. Then I don't know if it requires a motion.
Well, are we forming a board? Compensation board, or that was my question is.
So how's it been done in the past?
What's been done in the past is that you have your separate executive session. Usually I'm brought into the executive session for you to talk to me. as a group, and then you appoint two people to go and negotiate with me.
But you've appointed them in the public meeting though, right? Because you couldn't have taken action in executive.
Right.
Yeah, and because they're gonna have to have authority by the board to contract too, because I think that's also been done in the past. So it will require a motion.
Publicly, right? The final compensation agreement is just between you and that's not been a public document.
Right. Right.
Now that's where the question was brought to me of a compensation committee and for a public body. So if you two, which I'm fine with you two doing that, please just make sure that if there's any requirements that need to be met, that they are met. If there is something that's further needed, bring it back to us, okay?
Right.
Or contact me.
So we still need to probably have a motion of some sort that appoints the two and gives us the authority to negotiate.
I will move to appoint Commissioner Reitman and Commissioner Stoko to the negotiating committee or board for the Port of Morrow to work with the executive director on compensation. So, okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the point? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Unanimous of those commissioners present. Okay, and like I asked, though, if you would make sure that, okay, please.
We'll dig in.
Okay, and I apologize to the rest of our group that were on the agenda for staff reports and things like that. We apologize for getting past that because I don't see any of them here. We do have reports in our packets, so we appreciate their providing them. So is there any other business to come before us today?
Dean's here. Does Eileen, do you have anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, financial report.
No,
Nothing but.
no, if there'd been anything amazing or way out of whack, I would have been asking for a resolution right here at the end of the year. But the budget is looking fine. The cash is looking fine as expected. Pardon?
Made our bond payments.
Yeah, we made our bond payments. I guess I assume that goes without saying, but maybe it doesn't.
No, appreciate that.
We are working on. Do you want to talk about financing?
On the financing,
Mhm.
I think
There,
maybe at a high level without getting.
Okay, well, we're, that's all we can do is high level at this point. We're broaching the alternatives of perhaps rather than a refinance, asking for a change in our terms. You know, it's just all exploratory at this point. But we are working on that right now.
of our already existing financing, correct?
Right, which is due in.
October 1.
Are you talking about the bonds?
Yeah, the 274 million
Okay.
is what I'm talking about.
So you're talking about change in terms.
Well, we're gonna have to extend it because it's due in December.
Right.
Mhm.
And so we either do a refinance or we request an extension of terms. And basically we'll go with whatever we're told is the lowest cost.
Mm.
So there's a cost associated with changing the terms.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, there'd be a cost with refunding the bond anyways, the refinancing.
Is that
Yeah,
a large cost, small cost?
Well, relatively small.
If you put it in perspective, I get.
That's why we're trying to negotiate an extension of our short-term bond, because if we do a long-term bond, we're gonna be paying the same rate, or we're gonna be paying the same fees.
Right.
And it might not necessarily be the end goal that we're looking for, because we're currently looking at the LID approach. We're looking at several different approaches. So if we have the ability to not pay additional fees and extend it another year to give more time for us to see how much secondary treatment is really going to cost, see how much all that is.
Yeah, I think it's problematic until you've actually got all those pieces in place and the final bill paid to know what the right structure of debt would be.
It's probably gonna take us a year to get through the LID. just get that
I
started.
would think it would, yeah.
Mhm.
And
So are our business partners going to be upset with an LID?
I think they'll be excited about it, actually,
yeah, they would think so too.
depending on how it's structured.
We will visit with them about it.
So the way I understood it was more things that they had to pay. Is that, no?
No, it's the same amount of money, but it could be, if it's structured right, there could be one user that doesn't use any water right now that would be paying maybe the biggest share of the cost.
Right. Right. And I think that because it's an LID, I think your financing might be fairly favorable as far as what the carry on the money, the cost.
Well, and that was part of the discussion earlier this week was we really need more details about the LID if we want to use that to make the financing more advantageous.
Right, because I think it's a possibility that the people that are gonna pay this are end users anyway. And if you could find a lower cost of carry, that would be.
Right.
And the stability of an LID has a lot of merit in it, but.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be adjusting the rate per se for like the wastewater, we would be.
So,
The wastewater rate could be
It
Could be
wouldn't
lower.
go up as much as we planned.
Yeah,
Right.
so currently in our rate, there is a section to pay for long-term debt, and that is a large part of this $10 of the reuse and $3 of the fresh water. If we did an LID, depending on the way that it all shakes out, we could possibly get some of that money up front.
Yeah.
Which would help dramatically. We wouldn't be paying interest on that. The other part of it is that this debt would then be split into payments. I'm not exactly sure how the payments work, but our rate would remain lower, and they would be making chunks of payments that would be determined annually, right? And so they would be.
Well, and paid through their property
to be
taxes.
paid on their property taxes, and in other words, it wouldn't be debt on the balance sheet of the port at the end of the day, which would make us much more solvent from the outside if you were doing other financing, right? So if the port had something it wanted to do 5 years from now, it wouldn't have this overhang of the massive debt that it currently has, which would make the port more nimble and probably better for the end users that the port is solvent and strong. So, I mean, I think it's well worth you exploring it.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
it a stable source of income though? I mean, what if a business left?
It's more stable, I believe.
They're still,
It's secured by their property.
To secure
Yes.
their property.
yeah, it's an assessment,
Smart.
whereas
Do an AI Google search on it. It's
Yeah.
Blowing my mind, I think a little, maybe
Okay.
I'll visit with Eileen one of these
Right.
days, and see if I can wrap my head around
Sounds good.
it a little better.
it's basically taxing a specific district,
Right.
specific properties.
So you asked if
For
we could
that
change
debt.
their rate. Well, we can't change that rate, but maybe we could get this other rate.
Right, and people can decide to not use water. Right, which is the current.
Which is our biggest risk.
Our
to this
biggest risk.
situation, is that people choose not to use the water.
Yep.
And then not pay on wastewater, and then we have exposure. Whereas if it's tied to the property, especially if you have a large property participant that maybe wants to pay their debt up front, that would
huge.
that would change the carry for all participants and would improve it. So
So it would be kind of like a taxing district.
it's a taxing district, basically.
It is.
It is. Like a good example is a city wants to put in all new, a new development on one end of town. It has nothing, but it needs pavement, water, all of it. Upfront, the property, they create a local improvement district around it. And that area is just separated from the rest of the city. There's X millions of dollars, and then it's divided amongst the parcels. So that every tax slot pays its share over time for the new road, the new sewer, the new sidewalk. That happens all the time on city expansions.
So you said tax lot, is that a tax lot or is that what the development is on that tax lot? Is
Okay,
it like
there's,
property taxes?
there's two options and it depends on how it's set up.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So that's part of the continuing
That's what you need to
investigation and
understand.
discussions.
It could be based on tax base, it could be based on land, amount of land,
Yep.
Acres.
there's the amount of acres.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways it could be
So I think
structured.
you'd have to explore, there's probably more than one.
Yeah, we gotta,
It's done in a year.
yes,
It only has to be approved by the affected parties.
Yeah.
It's not a countywide vote.
It's,
It's a vote of the affected properties.
I think we'll get more information about it too. And in the meantime, maybe have a conversation with Eileen
Yeah. I
about it. So someone, yeah.
Google.
Yeah, I
There
think
you go.
an AI search of it, you find it interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you for that discussion. Thanks for the financials, Eileen. Thanks everyone for the LID information too. So anything else today?
do we have any, I see Erica's on, do you have any project pictures?
I
We can run
do
through-
actually.
Let's run through them real
All
quick.
right.
You guys don't want to leave yet, do you?
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
$50.
We can run through them real quick. Hey, the mics
do you
work.
think you've earned it yet?
You're good. You're good.
Gonna take me half a second to get it open here. Sorry.
Okay. Secondary treatment design is going well. We got comments back from DEQ. So we're addressing those in the next couple of weeks. Aqua will be sending those back to DEQ. And we should be ready to go to bid here in the next month or
The
two.
EQ is being reasonable.
You know, I didn't see anything that was concerning from DEQ, except for the length of time that it took them to review.
Oh, well, that's just.
So, I mean, we gave the plans to them April 1st and we just got them back last week.
Yeah.
So. Okay,
It's all you.
it's all you click on one. Surface water treatment plant.
This is at the airport.
Yeah. They're coming along.
Enclosed now. So this is like the treatment plant that we saw in.
Yeah, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're identical. That one's just at the airport.
Very good. Beautiful.
This is the one out at East Beach.
Okay, it's like backup generation.
They're getting electrical in and a lot of the pipes inside are getting installed as well.
And that's backup power in case the grid goes down. Okay, awesome. Coonsey booster.
I don't,
Oh, Coonsey.
what's,
Coonsey.
oh, it's a Coonsey pump station?
Yeah.
They're
Okay,
getting the siding on it.
yeah,
And where is that located?
it's on Coonsey.
Well, I got.
It-
It is east of Maine.
Okay, that's why I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay. In that direction.
City-owned property south of.
It is a city-owned property.
Station, that's where.
That is ours. I don't believe what you read on Facebook. It's ours.
The
That's taking the water from the CID all the way to the airport, right? Just a booster.
Yeah, we have a booster right at the CID on bombing range.
Right.
And that's our second booster. And then there's no other boosters the rest of the way.
Okay.
Here's the one in progress on bombing range.
Yeah,
My goodness. The size of that.
it's just a little booster station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start.
Oh, we got to be able to flow 10,000 GPM at any given moment. So they're sizable stations.
Yeah.
So this booster station, it gets it to airport. If construction is built at Three Mile Canyon Farms, there'd be more booster stations, right?
We would have to add one at 3 Mile Canyon Farms
Right. Okay. All
to
right.
push it out to get pressure, plus tanks.
Yeah.
There'd be another 2 million gallon tank out there.
Yeah. That Coonsey?
That's the paving.
Yeah.
The paving on the
One side of the street.
north side is beautiful.
Yeah.
We
They
talked
did a
about,
really nice job on that site.
That's
all
good.
right.
So
so
I
we
looked
talked,
at a Sign says warning, road is not striped. Was that really important?
yeah, because there was no striping on it.
So,
Sooner mine is.
right.
The striping will happen July 7th, something like that. We were going to do it sooner, like next week, but since the interchange is closed down at,
The traffic has been crazy.
oh yeah, so if we plug up this side too, it would really be a disaster. So we decided to hold off on striping until, and we're gonna stripe the whole thing, Lisa, and
If we get the ability to pay the south side, we'll do it again.
well, I think I did have a conversation and maybe the fiber team that from Amazon may be willing to pay from Maine to Miller. Because that is the worst section of patching from when they put that fiber in. So,
Okay. You did.
and I know the county plans to chip seal the whole thing next year.
Good.
Okay.
This is the South Lift Station.
Okay, yep. They're in the lagoon.
And I believe it's done now, I think,
Well, it's somewhat done.
somewhat.
Yeah.
Okay.
We still have some connections we need to make. We can't flow water through the south lift now. We're going through commissioning and automation on it right now. So also the backup generator, we did make sure that it did run. The one, it's out of Farm 6. So we're going to move that big generator down for the south lift station. So in case we do have another power outage. So yeah, we won't need it. We don't need that big generator at the dairy. So we're going to do a load test on it out there and then we're going to move it in. So.
All right, good. Contingency. I like contingencies covered.
That looks like Hepner.
Hepner. They're doing
Wow.
some work on that. Is it a well house or?
Yes.
And then just some final pictures of the floodplain work that had been completed.
Yep.
It's all the way done then.
It's not, we got a few little things we're finishing. There's some foundations that still need to be knocked out, concrete.
Right.
Need to be cleaned up, and then the water line needs to be replaced. It was ripped out and it'll be tied into the other system on the other side of the road. And that's supposed to be done per contract by July 7th.
That's great.
So hopefully no more phone calls for you either.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank
Yeah.
you. Because you guys have already done the boring and everything under the road.
Yeah, that was done a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice prep
So.
work. Good. That's great. Thank you.
That is the airport signs.
Nice.
Yeah.
It looks nice out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
who would have ever thought?
Just not that long ago, none of that existed. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
That was one thing when we were looking over the, it was there.
Our list.
Yeah, our list, it's like,
Yeah, it
check,
was like,
check, check.
and it talked about how expensive it was to develop at the airport, but that was like this future pie in the sky thing, and
Mhm.
It's all done.
it's done.
Done.
Yeah. And the well that goes like this. It
Yeah,
was kind of discouraging to have that turn out that way, but
it was.
Wow,
Well,
things
nice thing
change.
is, we had to pay for that up front, but we got reimbursed before we had the agreements on it. So we got reimbursed for that well.
good.
Not the
negotiation.
first phase that was messed up, the second phase. So,
Right. No,
which
that's
was good.
very good.
That's it.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, Erica.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your patience today as we went through things. We really appreciate it and thanks for the information. We will adjourn this Port Commission meeting. Thank you.